Hey, good morning, everybody. Wednesday, January 29th. We got off to a little bit of a late start this morning. So sorry if you were waiting around for us at 9 o'clock, but I wanted to get one done for you nonetheless. And I'm joined by always by Dwayne Gibbs. How you doing, Dwayne?
Good morning. Good morning. Bridge must have been up.
No, it was my fault. It's just, you start to live by the calendar, and if it's not on there, it just escapes my memory, and for some reason I didn't have one on for this morning, and started my day, and then I got the phone call from you. So here we are anyway, everybody, and we're pressed for a little bit of time, but I wanted to go through a deal that I'm partnering on with somebody. I know a lot of people in the industry like to think in terms of partnering and how does that work. And some people do it correctly, some people do it incorrectly. And so I thought I'd spend a little time on talking you all through that. Yes, you can partner with people, but it should be done the right way. And the cleanest way to partner with somebody is just your entity, their entity, going in on a deal together. Cleanest way to do it. You pay your taxes, they pay their taxes. Every accounting's different, everything else. You're just sharing a percentage of the ownership, which also means by translation, you're sharing a percentage of the monthly payment that comes in. Pretty simple. More complex deals can be involved with a trust and that sort of thing, where you're a part beneficial owner of the trust, but that's a little bit more advanced. So we're going to stay away from that one today. And we'll talk about trust later on and building a whole trust program. But let's just focus on two people, two entities. I say entities, so whether it's an IRA or some other type of retirement account, or a corporation, or an LLC, solo LLC. A lot of people in our industry, myself included, just have a solo LLC for most of the deals that they do. So it's just two entities going in on deals together. And of course, the first rule is that we want things in writing. I don't know
Mm.
how many times I have to say that to people. Look, in real estate, and notes is a part of real estate. If it's not in writing, as far as the law is concerned, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You can, for example, I'll make it simple. You could buy a house from somebody on a handshake. So maybe Dwayne's selling a house, and Dwayne and I say, all right, I'm buying it for this. And we shake hands and we say, great. And we go ahead. I follow through on everything that I said. Dwayne follows things on everything he says, and I buy the house. Great. That's totally fine. That's totally legal. But let's change that same scenario. So now I'm buying the house from Dwayne. We shake hands on it. We have a verbal agreement in real estate. And then along comes somebody else with a suitcase full of money, and they
Mm.
offer 50% more that I'm offering Dwayne. And Dwayne goes, well, this guy's
Mm.
got cash. He's ready to go. We can sign this contract on the hood of the car and be good to go. Dwayne has every legal right to do that because we didn't have anything in writing. And in real estate, it does need to be in writing. The law does not look at real estate the same way as it does, like a personal obligation, where a verbal contract can be enforceable on some things, not in real estate. You got a little chuckle out of that, huh, Dwayne?
True. Absolutely.
So just remember that. So there should be, when you're partnering with somebody, an agreement. And the agreement's in writing as to what percentages are split and how things are to work if the loan is paid off early. What's going to happen if the loan goes bad? So all of those things you need to think through, and that'll keep you out of trouble. Because the worst thing that can happen when you partner with somebody on a deal is it goes bad. And then the partners end up butting heads, can't agree to anything because they didn't have it all laid out. And that's where the problems start to arise. And then you're suing each other down the road. It can become an absolute mess. So just remember that. Everybody should know from the get-go what are the rights and responsibilities of all parties. So that's rule number one. So I found this deal. We haven't closed on it yet, so I'm really going to kind of talk you through this one rather than rely on slide presentations, because I don't like to disclose certain deals if they're not closed, and that's another thing in real estate, right? Don't count if if you're a salesperson, for example, in real estate, they always tell you don't count your commission until the check clears. You don't know if that deal's done or not. So this is a deal that I found in my new partnership program, what I call the Elite program. And so what we do in that program is I've got somebody who's busy. They don't have the time to look for these deals. So we make an agreement in a partnership type of relationship where I say, well, I'll find the deals, I'll put them together, I'll propose them to you, and you either say yes or say no. We're moving on, no problem. So I found this deal, and it's in Mississippi. And Dwayne, I don't know if you've been to the Gulfport area of Mississippi.
Gosh, I have, but man, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, been a long time. It was a nice area. It does get hurricanes and such, from time to time, but that's again, that's another thing that we can deal
Yeah.
with. But Gulfport is down on the, I guess the Gulf of America,
Hmm.
down on the coast there, and it's a little bit of a sleepy town, but at the same time, they had some casinos come in, that sort of thing. So I'm fairly familiar with the area. Been through. It's been a while for myself as well. So I like the area. Sometimes you look at the demographics of the area, you look at the housing of the area. That's kind of a minor thing that we look at, but all the numbers on this look good. We had a really good investment to balance ratio. We had a very good investment to value ratio. Property being worth about 140,000 and our investment coming in at just under 27,000. So a very safe investment, nice return. In fact, the return is about 11.5% per year on that deal. And all the normal things, when you're partnering with somebody who's responsible for doing the due diligence and all of that. In this relationship, I do all the due diligence. So I'm reaching out to the seller. I'm looking at the property on maps. I'm researching the area. I'm looking at realtor.com, looking at a slew of websites that literally today takes minutes to go through. I even look at the GIS maps and plot it out. Where's the property actually located? Confirm everything. I go through all the documentation. What's the history of the property? And what I found in this, which is a little bit unusual, is there was a loan on the property and there was also a payoff of that loan, which means that the loan that they're looking to sell me doesn't exist anymore.
Hmm.
So obviously that becomes a problem. I'm like, well, where's the loan? And so they sent me a copy of the new loan on it. And it was kind of an interesting deal. There was a revocable living trust that owns the note on this property that did the seller financing for the current borrower. And for reasons that are still not 100% clear, but I think it was just an estate planning mechanism, they closed out that note and recreated another one by going through another closing. So you can see on the settlement statement, which they did send me, showing here's what that loan was, that's being paid off, here's the new loan, exact same amount. And they just went through a formal closing. So it's an unusual move. Do I need to know 100% of why they did that? No. What I need to know is this a legally enforceable document? That's really the thing. And to add a little layer of complexity, they showed me the new document that was created at this closing, but I couldn't find it in public records under the search criteria that I used to find all the other liens in the history of the property. But anytime something's recorded, you're going to see in the recording stamps the document page and a booking page, I should say. You'll see the document booking page. And once I had that copy and I clearly saw the stamp, then I'm going to take that next step of verification. I'm going to go to the county and look up that specific booking page, which I did. And sure enough, there it is. Why wasn't it with the other documents?
Yeah.
Again,
What
I,
happened?
I don't have an answer.
Clerical error.
I don't know. But clearly it exists. It has been recorded and it's an enforceable document. Now, if I were going to question that, that's where, if you have to lawyer up and have somebody review that before you close on it, you can do that. Anybody can do that and have somebody take a look at it. But I've looked over everything and I feel, okay, there it is. It's where they said it was. Why, I think you're right. It was something on how the county recorded it. It just didn't get associated with those other documents. And it could be just as simple as that. So again, how deep of a rabbit hole do you want to go down on a deal trying, well,
Doesn't
why
matter.
wasn't that, and
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
no,
There.
yeah, like I said, is it an enforceable document or not? So got the green light. And the other next issue was I signed the purchase and sale agreement. Now, to expedite a deal when you're partnering, sometimes what I did on this one is I just put it in my company name just to advance the ball because I knew this note was a good one and I didn't want somebody else to come by, with that. I'll use that same illustration, that suitcase full of money and offer them more than what I did. And because I didn't have a purchase and sale agreement in writing yet, executed, signed, if you will, by both parties, I'm at that risk where they still have the legal right to sell it to somebody else. And I wanted to button that final piece there. So that was a little tricky over the weekend because I had no response back from that, but they did go ahead and sign the document Monday. So now there's an obligation for them to sell me that property. Sorry, sell me that note, backed by that property. I still have, in a way, the right but not the obligation to buy it, and that's a power position to be in. So I went ahead then and I got the title report. I wanted the title report because I wanted them also to look and see that same scenario because it's unusual to see what they did. It went from the trust to them and then back. It's like, what the heck? What's going on there? Is there still a lien in there? So it was nice to have a third party, look at that. And they're not expensive, everybody. I mean, $85. It's a cost of doing business, to have a little bit of a reassurance that you
What they
didn't.
come up with?
What's that?
What was their assessment?
Oh, same thing. It
Yeah,
just, here's the new lien, and they found it as well, and just said, it is what it is. It's kind of an unusual move, but like I said, I think they probably made some changes on the trust, and just felt it was necessary, which it probably wasn't, but necessary to just go ahead and redo it,
yeah.
and that was fine with me. So everything looked good. So now I'm at a position. Remember, this is going into a partnership. I don't have my partner on the paperwork just yet. So once I had the deal locked in, then it's like, okay, we're going to change that purchase sale agreement and add in the partner. And that's an easy fix, when you do the contracts the right way. So you want to get control, but I also have this agreement with the partner that they're going to be in this deal, So now, since I was able to expedite that, got it in there, which I'll be putting in today, the partnership relationship on there. And the partnership relationship should be in the purchase and sale agreement, but then also in the documentation. So when the seller of the note assigns the contract over to me, assigns the mortgage over to the partnership relationship, I should say, when they assign that over, both my partner's name and my name, entity names, are going to be on there. What we don't have to really do those are going to be public documents, right? So anytime we do an assignment of mortgage, that has to be recorded in the county in which the property is located. What I don't have to do is disclose what percentage each partner gets. Now, you can do that if you want to and have it formally in the recorded document, or you could have that as a separate, again, written agreement between the two parties. Okay, so it'd still be a legally enforceable document. It's just how much information do you want to put out there to the public? You know, me personally, and I think Dwayne, you would agree, if you don't have to put in the splits in the document that's going to be recorded, why put it in there?
Yeah.
You know, keep a little bit of privacy on there, you know, so people don't have to see your business. And then you just have that separate agreement.
Well, not being rude, but it's really nobody's business. I mean, the transaction's being done. You know what I mean? So who really needs to know what split is? It's kind of like, you know, being in court, somebody asking you a question, just give them the information they need. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You don't need to forego any additional information that really doesn't matter.
exactly. Exactly. And you can be any kind of really percentage is the best way to do it. Uh, you know, whether that's so in this particular case, my partner's bringing in IRA money. I'm bringing in cash out of my business account. You know, so
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we have to have our purchase price there in total. How much of that money is hers from her IRA? How much of that is mine is really nobody's business but ourselves. Now, if we have that separate agreement that outlines that, we will have to get that to the servicing company though, because the servicing company has to know and has to have also in writing when this money comes in, where does it go? This percentage goes here, this percentage goes there. They have to have that in writing. So that's fine, and we can supply that for them. So the best way and the fair way really to do this on a percentage basis, you have to understand the math. And once again, just having a simple financial calculator can make this easy. But the best way, the fairest way to do it is you take what the monthly payment is. Well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. How much am I putting in? How much is a partner putting in? And then calculate what's that percentage of the price, right? So just to make it simple, if I'm putting in 10%, my partner is putting in 9%. And we'll just make up numbers so everybody's, I won't use the same numbers as example here, but if we have to fund $100,000, I'm putting in 10 grand, they're putting in 9 grand. I own 10% of the note, they own 90% of the note, right? That's simple math. So that's the first thing you want to do is establish that relationship there. Then the fair way to do it is to go back and say, okay, if this note's going to be professionally serviced, the servicing company's taking out approximately $15 or $30 a month of that gross payment for servicing. And that'll depend upon if it's being escrowed or not. So once you take that number out, let's just say it's $30 a month, then, so let's say the monthly payments are $1,030, okay, just for simple math. If you're doing this the fair way, you'd say, okay, well, $30 of it's being paid by, by both of us, right? So that goes out to the servicing company. That leaves us with $1,000 a month. So of that, I would get 10%, okay, $100, and the partner would get 90%, $900. And the cool thing when you do it that way, your yield stays the same. So if it's 11% yield, I'm making 11% on my investment. They're making 11% on their investment. It's a very fair way to do it. And, you know, understanding that and going through that math is going to be really important to you because I've just seen, and I hate to say it, but there's been some partnerships in this business that I've seen from unrelated parties. Sometimes they don't put any money in and they want 50% of what you do because maybe they trained you or something like that. It's in my mind ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some people will put in 10%, but they want a split of 60-40. And although that may be possible, that's where you also run the risk of getting into what they call fractional shares, and if things go wrong, that could be getting SEC involved and all sorts of things that you don't want. So again, the fairest way is what percentage of this note do you own? What percentage do they own? Take out the servicing fee, take that monthly payment, and then just back it out. And if you know the financial calculator, you'll see that you're going to end up with the same yield as your partner does because you're investing different amounts and getting that different percentage of the deal.
Hmm.
If the note pays off early, guess what? They get 90% of the payoff. I get 10% of the payoff. It's pretty simple math over the course of the loan there. And that's the good, safe, responsible way to do these partnerships. Once the deal gets funded, again, both partners are going to be on the documentation that gets recorded. Both parties are going to be in the note that's not recorded but written up, and servicing company gets the instructions, and money comes in. They take out their money and they distribute the rest. So it doesn't matter if you're partnering with an IRA or another LLC, because it's just money being sent to whatever entity is the other partnership. So pretty smooth, pretty easy when you have it all lined up, you know. So partnerships going in, remember who's responsible for um, what are the rights and obligations of both parties, and do the math the right way, and you'll still clear of all the problems.
Good, good. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and we were talking about the partnership program that you have, and he said, I have capital, but never really thought about partnering up with anybody, and I just don't have time to go down that road and do all what it takes. What's that look like? So we kind of had that conversation, and he said, well, that's probably something that I'm going to have to consider strongly, because I want to do notes, I want to invest in notes, and why not have somebody like Kevin that can do it? I can partner with them, and it sounds all fair all the way across. So with people that don't have the time, that are looking to invest in notes, and having somebody at your caliber and able to look at them, firsthand and partner with you, I think it's a win-win for not only you but the client.
Yeah, 100%. And it's everything's good. Again, if there's clarity on what
Yeah,
everybody's doing, then the partnerships can go really well. You know, you don't want to get into a partnership with somebody where you're kind of guessing, well, you know, where does it say
what's
that,
up?
or how does that work? It's, you know,
Yeah,
you got to have that, because there's as a part of the relationship, there's the faith in it, the trust, and everything else. But there's also, it's also backed up by stuff in writing. You know what I
sure,
mean?
sure.
So
Yeah,
you can argue legal, ethical, moral, all that sort of stuff all day long, and hopefully you partner with somebody that has all of those things. But at the end of the day, as I was saying, when it comes down to real estate, what's in writing. So we just want to avoid the problems and the headaches. And if you do it clean up front, it can be a good way to go, because it also stretches your capital. You know, one of the things we've seen, Dwayne, is that at some point, if you're investing in a lot of notes and you're getting monthly cash flow back, you're getting good returns, but you're also putting a lot of capital out there. Many times people run into a situation where they don't have enough capital anymore.
right.
And then they start looking at, well, can I broker deals? Can I sell off some of the partials, recapitalize? Can I do a hypothecation? Well, yeah, you can do all those things, but you also could partner with people and stretch that out, especially if you're getting the same returns. You know, it's when you partner with somebody and you're making, you know, 8% and the loan's paying 12, and you're just making 8% of it, then the partnership, in my opinion, wasn't structured the right way, the fair way for you. But it's just, again, understanding that math and that financial calculator that I've used, and you guys can find it. Geez, I go through all kinds of different things with that same financial calculator, have it on my phone, have it on my laptops, on my desktops, and use it all the time, and all the case studies on YouTube and that I have, understanding how that works really opens up the door for putting these together. So good stuff. And I'll have more of those coming. I've got right now 3 other offers out on deals right now, waiting to hear
Awesome.
back from the sellers, and a mixture of land deals and or land only deals and real estate deals, and
You're rolling, man.
pretty interesting stuff.
Rolling the beginning of the year.
I got some special preview tapes sent to me
Saw
before they're
that. I
marketed
saw
anywhere
that
else, so
little.
anytime, part of that, everybody comes with relationships, and you
Uh,
build good relationships, and again, treat people fairly, and close deals. Next thing you know, they're going, hey, in a sense, I'm going to paraphrase this, but they're going, hey, you've done so many deals with us. take a look at these before we post them somewhere else, because they know they can come here and yes, we're going to look at them and we're going to verify them and we're going to research the heck out of them. But if they're good, if there's what they're stated, we're going to close on them. So that's why I get deals ahead of time a lot of times. And when I do, I certainly want to take advantage of that. You know, give me 5 days advance, 3 days advance, man, and I'll have that whole thing researched. So yeah, it's
I saw that
yeah,
little email come in, and good.
yeah. You got it. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in, and don't forget you can watch the replay if you want to on YouTube. If you want to reach out to us and talk about what we can do for you, partnership or other programs that we have, please do so, and we'll post Dwayne's Calendly link on there. You can schedule a phone call, and we can talk you right through it. And don't forget, tip of the day is also on X and. What else is out there?
YouTube,
X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
Facebook.
LinkedIn, all that good stuff. You can look us up. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for joining us, Dwayne, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
See you soon.